Welcome to another episode of The Rugged Homestead. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about chitting potatoes. As you know, if from watching prior videos, I'm growing a food forest in my backyard, but I'm not ready to plant annuals and vegetables into the food forest just yet. I'm establishing the base by planting fruit trees. So I still have my raised bed garden, and this year I'm going to be growing potatoes, but I'm actually not going to be growing potatoes in the garden itself, at least not completely. I'm going to be using various barrels to grow them in. I might be planting some in the garden beds if I have like an open spot or two, but I'm planning on planting what I've got into whiskey barrels, actually fake whiskey barrels. They're like a resin material, and I got them at Home Depot. I've grown potatoes in my garden in the past, and I've had mediocre success with it. This year what I've done is two separate things. First, I actually took some store-bought potatoes. I had some real small ones, so I put them on a windowsill and started to pre-sprout them. And then the other thing I did was I ordered seed potatoes. I figured that my prior experiences in growing potatoes, having used store-bought potatoes, hasn't been terrific, but I wanted to try it anyway, again. But as a backup, I wanted to have true seed potatoes from a mail order house. So I've ordered some. I got some Yukon Gold potatoes. So what I'm going to show you now is how I'm going about chitting the potatoes. Chitting potatoes seems to be a fancy word for pre-sprouting them. So I've got two bags here. The one on the right are actually store-bought potatoes that I just had from a 5-pound bag of potatoes. These were smaller ones. So I decided to try and pre-sprout them, get a good start. But it's a free and cheap alternative, so you can get potatoes out of it. On the left-hand bag, these are seed potatoes that were purchased from a mail order house, Gurney's. From the store-bought potatoes, I've had these sitting on a kitchen windowsill, and they've started to sprout. Now these are the kind of sprouts that you really want with a potato. They're green, they're thick. What you don't want is white, spindly white stalks growing. Now this is a seed potato, and as you can see, these are white here. If you don't chit them, what'll happen is they'll grow up long and spindly and white, and you really don't want that. It's a weak plant. So what you do is you stick a potato on a windowsill and let it sit there for a while, and the sprouts turn hard, they get tough and stout, and they become a much stronger potato by doing that. And then what you can do is where each of these eyes are, you can then cut them and create a whole separate potato. That's what I'll be doing with these. I'll be cutting these up. These I'm going to be setting on the windowsill and get them going for the chitting process. And just do a comparison at the end of the year and see which ones produce better. So I'm going to cut these potatoes up here into different sections, trying to keep at least one eye on each portion. And now what you're going to want is this portion of the potato to get like a leathery feel to it, and then it'll be ready for planting. So I'm just going to take it and stick it in the egg carton, and this one too. A lot of people just plant the whole potato, say don't bother going through the cutting, but it's also an easier way to expand your harvest of potatoes by cutting them up. And you want the sprouts to be sticking up. Ooh. This one I can probably get 3 out of. I'm not sure if that's going to be a problem. Looks like a little bit of decay, but we're still growing here, so that's okay. You want the potatoes to be about the size of an egg at least. So I think we're pretty good there. Okay, that's all the store-bought potatoes. Now on this side, I'll fill up the Yukon Gold that I got from the mail order house. So I've moved my potatoes in the container into my shed, and I have them sitting right in front of a window. Yeah, so they'll get some sunlight in there. And as I said, they'll skin over, get a leathery feel to them. And that should happen a couple of days to a week or so, I guess. And then they'll be ready for planting. So that's how you go about chitting potatoes. I'll keep you updated on how the potatoes grow throughout the growing season. So if you like what you see, give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel if you'd already do so. And then hit that alarm button, and that way you'll be notified right away when videos like this are posted. And you can keep up to date as I turn my home into a homestead.